I was just there, just all comfortable. And it was like this, it was like something, it's so much. It was like where I was standing just for that moment. Everything just kind of shook just a moment. It was like a big, like, it was like the ground underneath my feet. It was like vibrating. And I just, for a moment, I saw her face again. And I was like, oh, it must be happening. And then I could hear her voice. And then I could hear her giggle and laugh. And I just knew that's it. It makes me feel so good. Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's so good to hear that from you and to hear your perspective.
Yes.
You were actually aware.
Yes.
At the moment that it happened.
Yes.
That is fascinating.
Yes. Oh, it's amazing because her energy, it's just, I kind of knew it, but I didn't know it because there was so much that was going on that day that when she came to visit and all the other people, but that energy, that it was like coming back together again. Yes.
Right. Oh, and I see a tear in your eye. That's so exciting.
Oh.
Hi, everyone. It's Candace Craw-Goldman. We're back again with another episode talking with the horse Hickory with Allison Brown and William Brown. Hi, you guys.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
So let's set the stage here, a little bit of back history. So where we are right now is Hickory the horse is not here. Going to get him in a couple of days, about 4 days from now. And Will has already spoken to the horse. And so let me just give a very brief summary about how all that worked in case you haven't seen episode 1, which is only an audio tape because it was done not this way, but just by Will and Allison together alone when they could do it. And that exchange was basically I'd gone to see the horse. I was going to try to bid on the horse who was at an auction. And it was just a little bit of back and forth. And Allison, you want to, excuse me, I got a little thing in my throat. I'm going to mute myself. You want to fill us in with what the summary was, kind of what that was like, that first meeting of Hickory?
First of all, it was beautiful. Hickory's energy is amazing. And I normally go ahead and say hello and I give the name of the animal because I know who we're talking to. But this time I wanted to be sure that the audience knew who we were talking to. So I asked Hickory his name, and you had mentioned that his barn name is Hick, but he introduced himself as Hickory, which was interesting. That's the first thing. So now we know.
Oh, wait a second. Gotta ask. You didn't know his name was Hickory?
Well, I knew his long name. Right. They have a long name and they have a barn name.
Right.
And at first I wanted to reinforce who we were talking to. And secondly, I wanted to know how he wanted to be addressed.
Right.
And he said Hickory. He didn't say Hick.
Right.
So he said, I'm Hickory. And I said, hey, Hickory. And we started chatting. But I asked him if he knew what was happening. I don't know if I used the word auction. I don't remember. But he said, I do know that there are a bunch of people coming to see me or inquiring about me. And I know something's happening, but he didn't quite know what. And then I asked him if he remembered meeting you. I think we chatted with him the day after he had met you. And he was absolutely, he remembered your energy and that it was a beautiful bond. He felt like it was a brother-sister type of bond already at that point. So that was beautiful. He was a little bit hesitant about saying whether he knew he was going home with you or not, because he said there were so many people and there was so much energy that it was really hard to kind of pinpoint, but that he would be pleased to go home. I described your farm and what he would experience and the things he would get to do if he went home with you. And he seemed to really be excited about that, but he didn't want to get his hopes up, right? So it'll be fun to talk to him today to let him know that indeed he is going home with you and to let him know what's in store. He did say, we asked sort of a body scan, any issues, and he was good to go. He said there really wasn't anything, but he had just a couple of quirks that he'd let you know, very minor things, but it'll be helpful for you to know. And he talked about what his favorite things to do are taking long walks, bonding with his human, and feeling comfortable enough, he said, to lie down and to relax with his human, allow the human and have no cares, to be that safe, which was just beautiful. I mean, just talking to him was just amazing. He was an amazing horse.
That's I just can't tell you how excited I am about all of this. So for the audience, there was a time when I had, just a couple days before the auction, I had this dream about this horse being in my childhood home, where is now my office. And this horse was in the living room, and I couldn't even get a look at this horse because he just kept looking around. He just kept looking around like this. I couldn't see his front face. So this was, I think this matched up with your information that a lot of people were looking at him, and he was like receiving that energy. It was so much so I couldn't get a handle on his face. And then another recap is during the day of the auction, I had a session with a woman who actually had a session with Dolores Cannon herself, whose death scene involved a horse looking at her. And when I was talking with her about that exact detail of that session, we were in the position of where, in my dream, where the horse would have been between us. It was so outrageous. It was so amazing. And these synchronicities keep happening. And we are very excited to talk to Hickory again today. Mostly, from my perspective is I tried to arrange transportation. I mean, like fancy dancy tractor trailer with a box stall and all the things for like the fancy show horses. It was going to do that for a couple of reasons. Number one, for his safety, but also because he's 7 hours away, and 7 hours isn't that long of a trip really, but I'd have to go and come back in one day because of my life and because of Dad. And so I was looking for help. Long story short, my husband is going to come to the rescue, and we are both going to go get him. I could have arranged for that more professional help. I would have had to wait several weeks. I'm not waiting. I'm going to get this horse. I want him home. And so that's what's coming up. And that's my my concern right now, or my big focus is wanting him to know we're coming to get him. Hope he's going to be safe and comfortable. And then also to find out a little bit about, did he know? Because, and this, please go ahead and fill everyone in about this. You did a group channeling that had a portion that had to do with horses. And the number one thing that stood out to me was this. Will, there's nobody like you who does this kind of communication. Nobody. There was a portion in that channeling where you said that horses can feel your energy. They are so sensitive to your energy. And then you hesitate and you went, they can feel your energy, up to about a mile as you're heading that way toward them. And I'm like, that's what I've always known. I've always known that it's not even sound proximity or anything like that. They can just feel this coming in. And that was just so brilliant. I love that so much. So we're all about horses these days. And I'm looking forward to hearing what's going to happen today.
Cool.
One of the other interesting, things about that channeling, they said that all animals are connected to source. We know that, but that horses have an even stronger or larger kind of direct line of communication to source, and that's what they're bringing through, and that's why they're so good at being therapy animals, because they're directly connecting with the human on such a different level like that. So it was and the other interesting thing was that horses, I've always said that horses have such profound wisdom, even more so than the other animals that we talk to. They just seem so wise and know themselves and know humans. And that was confirmed in that channeling also, that most animals, when they reincarnate, sometimes they reincarnate into drastically different animals, and they don't always bring those life experiences into this current life. They might have subconscious type of memories, which cause problems in this life from past life experience.
Sammy the pig. I have a cat who's a pig now, and you knew it, but he was just a kitten and didn't exhibit any of those characteristics. Sorry, I had to interrupt.
No, right. So there are things that pop into this life, but they carry their wisdom from life to life to life. And so they are a little bit more wise than other animals because they have that consistency in their consciousness that evolves over time. So that was fascinating.
Well, excellent. Well, I'm ready to hear the conversation if you guys are.
Sure.
Let's do it.
All right. Are we
We're ready. I'm going to scoot over here just a little bit.
okay? I'm just going to ask you to just get comfortable and just take a couple deep cleansing breaths. Helps all of our energies get connected together. Nice long inhale through the nose, nice long exhale through the mouth. As you do, I'm going to go ahead and begin. Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hello. Oh, I'm back again. Oh, ooh, oh, 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 ooh. Why am I here again?
Well, first, can you introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry. Yes, my name is Hickory.
Hi, Hickory. It's so
Hello.
good to see you again.
Yes. Oh, it's interesting. I wasn't expecting this. Oh, yes.
Well, the reason that we wanted to chat with you again,
yes.
remember the last time we spoke, we
yes.
talked about a lot of people coming to see you because
yes.
you were going to find a new home.
Yes.
Well, the person that we spoke to you about, Miss Candace, do you remember her energy?
Yes. I already know. Yes. I'm already. Yes. I already know.
What do you know?
Yes. I get to go home.
Yes, you do.
Yes. Because I've already heard it. I've already. Yes. Oh, it's quite interesting because so. Yes. I didn't expect this, but yes, I knew that everything was just in place, just at the right moment because. I don't know exactly what day it was, but anyway, I was just there, just all comfortable. And it was like this, it was like something, it's so much. It was like where I was standing just for that moment. Everything just kind of shook just a moment. It was like a big, it was like the ground underneath my feet. It was like vibrating. And I just, for a moment, I saw her face again. And I was like, oh, it must be happening. And then I could hear her voice. And then I could hear her giggle and laugh. And I just knew that's it. It makes me feel so good. Oh, yes.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's so good to hear that from you and to hear your perspective.
Yes.
You were actually aware.
Yes.
At the moment that it happened.
Yes.
That is fascinating.
Yes. Oh, it's amazing because her energy, it's just, I kind of knew it, but I didn't know it because there was so much that was going on that day that when she came to visit and all the other people, but that energy, that it was like coming back together again. Yes.
Right. Oh, and I see a tear in your eye. That's so exciting.
Oh, yes. It just makes me feel so good.
Right. And so you were a little bit hesitant last time we spoke to say for sure.
Yeah, I didn't know exactly, but there just felt something that's the one I need to be with, but I wasn't quite sure.
Well, one of these days, we want to talk to you more often if we can.
That's fine.
And I do want to check and see if you two have had past lives together. Did you know that you could check that?
Oh, no, I didn't know.
So we'll ask about that later and see, because you said coming back together again. So maybe you've been together before.
So, yes.
You equated her energy kind of like a brother-sister type of energy.
Yes. It's like, it's very familiar. And that's why I say brother-sister. It's like a very playful, but yet kind of that, I don't know if you have a brother or a sister, but it's kind of like there's moments that it feels very playful and very like fun and happy. And then there's moments you're like, nope, you need to be over there for just a minute because I'm not ready to deal with you just yet. That's kind of what it's like.
I see. Okay, good. Well, that day, the day that she was trying to secure you.
Yes.
there were lots of people who were rooting for you to come to the farm in Kansas. There were lots of people who were on your side so that you two could get connected.
Oh, wonderful.
Did you happen to feel the energy of that throughout the day? Do you know?
There was so much energy all around that I don't know if I felt that specifically, but I think maybe that's what I felt, that one evening where I'm just standing there and everything just started to vibrate under my feet. That might have been all of it together all at once then. Might have been that coming all together just to say, okay, it's done. And that's where you're going.
That's wonderful. So it will still be a few days before they can come pick you up.
Oh, yes. Yes. She's been saying that. I can hear her say that. She's been saying it, just a few more days. I'm trying to do my best to get there. I'm trying to get everything ready, but it'll just be a few days.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you can actually communicate with her that far away.
I've been hearing her. This is what I mean. It's like, it's so familiar. And I've been trying to talk back and I think she's getting it, but I don't know if she's getting all of it. Yes.
Well, wonderful. That's so amazing. So one of the things that we want to do, because horses in general are so full of wisdom, and as you said, you have a presence about yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so a lot of humans can learn from that experience and that wisdom and the things that you have to share with us. And so we were thinking that it would be helpful if we could have more conversations like this.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
For our audience, for all of the humans to hear from you and to hear your experience and your journey and how you came together with Candace and the things that you get to do on the farm.
Well, yes.
Would you be interested in that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Anything. That's what I enjoy, is just, well, just being there. I like, even though there were a lot of people that came to see me in those couple of days, they all wanted to talk to me and I would just listen. And that's what I like to do. I like to listen to all the stuff, all the stories, all the different words, and all the different, well, I think you understand it. I don't know if everyone does, but all the different like little vibrations that everybody has. That's what I like listening to. It's very interesting. It's very interesting to see that and feel that. So that's kind of what I like to do.
Oh, that's beautiful. I look forward to our conversations. Do you know that Candace is with us now in this conversation?
Yes, I felt it. Yes.
Would you like to say hello?
Hello. Yes, I'm so excited. Hopefully my excitement doesn't take over when I get home, because I can't wait. I want to get there, but I know that it might take a minute, but I don't even have words. I'm just so ready to get there and just see and meet everyone.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's wonderful. I'm going to ask Candace if she has any questions before we close this conversation with you.
Okay. Yes.
We're good.
I don't know that I have any questions. My utmost concern, immediate concern, is his comfort coming home on the trailer. I've bought 2 blankets to make sure I have the right size, just lightweight blankets for sort of the windy drive back up to Kansas. I think I would like Hickory to know, though, that he's coming to a place that will be a little colder than he's used to. If he's been in Texas his whole life, and the winters will be a little colder. You know what? I would like to ask him what he thinks about blankets and stalls. Does he have opinions? Does he like a nice stall, cozy stall with lots of shavings, or is he the kind of horse that likes to stand outside in the elements? I have and had both kinds. Which one are you, Hickory, about blankets and stalls and the weather?
Well, it depends. I do like a cozy stall. I like just enough shavings where everything is just neat and clean. And then, well, blankets, sometimes they get a little uncomfortable. They don't sometimes sit just right, but I'm sure you'll be able to find just the right one, because they just, I don't know. It seems like I can't move around just enough that I like to. And so they're okay. If I get just a bit cold, you're going to know. Trust me, I'll let you know. But I do also like being outside. There's something about being outside in all of it. And what I like is when it's really, really dark outside and I get to look up and I get to see everything that's around, because there's so many things in the sky, even at night. And I just like to stare at that. And it's so amazing. because that's why I like to be outside. And then, well, if it rains, well, it rains. If it's chilly, it's chilly. I'm okay with that. So I'll let you know. We're going to get to know each other very well. And I'm waiting to just get there and just see everything. But it might take me a minute to get adjusted because I'm just really excited to be there.
Fantastic. Well, Hickory, is there anything else you'd like to say to us or to the audience before we close our session today?
Oh, I just want to say I'm so excited, and I kind of look forward to this because, well, people come and talk to me, but it's rare that I get to talk to them in the way that I'm talking to you. So some people get it when I'm standing next to them and I'm trying to chat with them. They get it, but many people don't. So maybe this is going to help.
I think it will.
Yes.
Well, Hickory, thank you so much for coming in today, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't he a cutie? I told you.
Yes,
And
I just love that.
Will has little tears running down his face because of the tears of joy, I think.
You know, you're just so spot on so many things. First of all, that part about, I don't know, Will, how much you're remembering, if anything, that you've just said, but the part about him liking the dark, oh my gosh, to be able to ride a horse in the dark. Only some horses are really good at that. And I might even be able to, if he likes the dark, we may be able to translate that into having a rider during the dark. So that's exciting. The other part that's exciting is the main message that I have been communicating with him is, I'm sure, absolutely sure, that he's been well taken care of, at least the place where he is now. His history, don't know. You know, he's 12 years old. I think he's been around a few other cowboys, for sure. And one of the things that I've been trying to communicate with him is cowboys think of horses a little bit differently than most women who fall in love with horses. And that doesn't mean I can't do cowboy events and have and will do cowboy kind of events with Hickory. But the bond, the heart bond, it's rare that happens with a man as intensely and as sweetly as it does with a woman. There's just something about girls and horses. My friend Templeton Thompson even wrote a song about that. The whole thing, there's just something about girls and horses. And so I was trying to communicate with him that he's not just coming to do the same thing he's been doing in the other places he's been, but to actually bond with me is the most important thing. On top of his skill levels, right? For most of what I could see throughout his at least recent past is, of course, the focus is on his skill and safety and obedience and all that kind of stuff. Of course, those things are important to me. It's why I, was interested in the horse. But there's something beyond that, and I'm real excited. It sounds like it's gonna happen.
The expansiveness of the heart connecting to Hickory is a bit overwhelming. I mean, I don't want to be overly emotional about this, but there is a palpable just with the heart. I mean, it's open. It's so open.
Yeah, you had tears in your eyes.
I have them right now because it's present. It's very present. And I felt it even before we started getting connected. You were talking about them. And I could just feel that presence starting to build. And that's why when I went through my motions, I could just feel it. And it all landed here and it all exploded from here. And it was just, amazing. Amazing.
Without getting into too fine of a detail, I have to tell you, my heart was like that, especially towards the tail end of this auction. This whole idea that I even bought a horse at auction was just kind of way beyond anything I thought I would ever do. But going in and many hours, 10 hours before the auction ended, a timed auction, 10 hours before it ended, I put in my maximum bid. I just put it in. And there was some discussion with people who thought maybe that was, now that's not seen, obviously, because how would that work if it was an auction? I put my my maximum bid in, and I watched the process go a little bit throughout the day, and especially, of course, the last few minutes. And it just kept, ratcheting up. And then my final bid showed up, I don't know, I think it was something like 42 seconds before the end of my bid, because it was a computer bid thing. And I had already had my maximum in, and I'm just staring at it. And the heart thing going up to this, because conversations with my husband, could I have pushed a button and increased my maximum bid? Yes, I could have. And that was our biggest conversation during the day, was you already decided what your maximum, what's your real maximum, right? And right, you guys see where we are, right? And Tom. So there we are, and we're having this intense conversation about that. And I'm like, look, I'm not stupid. We can't lose the farm to buy a horse. I'm not stupid, but all I know is that horse needs to be here, but I'm not. And Tom wanted to make it very much about, well, decide now if you're going to. And I'm like, no, I'm going to stick with that. And as the clock is coming around, and it's, it's coming around, I'm ready to, part of me is like, my heart is so big like this. I'm like, doesn't matter what the number is. Not really, but in my head. And I'm ready to push the button to increase my maximum. I'm ready to do that. And then Tom's like,
hold. Ding.
And it's really funny. So when I got to this, I thought that I would burst out crying or something. All I did was just.
It was done.
And Tom's looking at me, and he's like, well, say something. And I was like, I couldn't even say anything. I was just, and then some tears came out, but I didn't have my whole thing ramped up until that moment. And then when it finally happened, it was like my intuition, your communication, everything that's led up to this. It's just another one of those things. You might be interested in this. And first, let me thank you for that, Will, because that was spectacular. I don't think I said that. I'm so focused on this horse.
It's fine.
Somebody said to me, ask Dolores. What's Dolores say about this horse? Now, first of all, I kind of knew better than to ask her, because it feels like I know her so well. Well, that would be useless, because she'd be like, you're playing this game. You don't want me to answer that question. Just go away, right? But you know what she did do? The energy she kept reflecting back to me, completely back to me, was the one that I had the feeling. And you guys know this. What we do is we translate this feeling, whatever it is, into words, right? That's the thing about channeling and communication and intuition and telepathy and telepathy. God, it's early, everybody. Anyway, so she kept putting this feeling in me when I would connect to her energy. And you know what the feeling was? It was the feeling that I had driving to Arkansas, knowing all those years ago, knowing I was going to be the one to have a session with her when I had no reason, no logical reason, and actually every logical reason to think that the odds of that were ridiculous. Same feeling. So it wasn't any, it was just like, do you remember that drive? And that's all it would be. And then my conscious mind would go, you're just bringing that up because it happened so nicely that time, and you're just fooling yourself. Look, this happens to people out there who are connecting into this. Your conscious mind is going to jump in and argue with you a lot.
Play games with you.
Yeah. So how wonderful to have the confirmation in all of these other ways. And yes, what wonderful connection you seem to have to him. Even like your head carriage, his head carriage is like that.
He is. He's very, he knows himself. He's very confident. Right.
That was the essence that I received coming out of the first channeling of Hickory, was a very present, very, holding his energy just right at the right moment. And it was very profound.
But that was so neat to hear him say that the earth shook, essentially, and then your face came in front of him. And so I can only think that when you communicated to everybody who was following this intensely, you said, hey, he's mine, or whatever you said.
It just
all of the joy formed this energy bubble that actually he felt underneath him, the ground shaking, and then your face, and the joy and the laughter and the playfulness came. I mean, that was just such a beautiful description. I'm glad he was able to give that to us and communicate, and that you're continuing, that he's hearing you now. You're communicating with him.
The sense I get is, during the, the channeling we did while he was still in auction, he had to put on a certain presence for the auction, right? He had to be kind of, hold himself. But this was the
safe.
The little kid kind of, take it all away. Here's I'm ready to go. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to have fun. I'm ready to, enjoy this next portion. So, yeah.
I can't wait to meet him in person one of these days.
Right. Well, I know he travels well. He's one of those horses that can go places, and I, quite frankly, haven't had a horse like that for quite some time, biding my time and, dad and all the things. But This is a horse that I'll be able to go places and do things with. So I'm so excited. Just
awesome.
I feel like a little kid, and I think I'd said this somewhere else in a Facebook Live or something, but my dad is losing more and more of his memories, short-term and long-term both, and starting to not be sure what the great grandchildren's names are. I mean, that's where dad is right now. He's 93. The other day though, at dinner, and I'm talking to him about bringing this horse, I said, Dad, do you remember the day that we got the pony Hershey? And his face just lit up. And what was just amazing about all that was he remembered every single detail, absolutely every single detail. And I thought that was like, so my memory, and as I'm watching my father kind of fade away and have his memories fade, knowing that he remembers the day of and he's just now walking in the hallway, I can hear him, the day that my first pony, that all that happened was just amazing. And now, by the way, the ride home was absolutely foundational to who I am, because I was 8 years old and he actually said, no, you are actually 9, which was like, what? So it was really great that he remembered that. I always thought it was 8. He said, you were 9. It was 8 miles ride home, 8 miles ride home from the little stables. And he followed me in the car for about 2 miles. And then he just left me. Right. He left me to ride all the way home. And my mother was about to kill him when I got home. But my dad has always been like that with me. He's like, she's got this. So even when I was 9 years old, being given, and I know the time and the times are different now. And this was rural Kansas, and don't send hate emails about how dangerous that was at the time. This was the time when kids were turned out in the morning and they came back at night, and there was ponies and mini bikes and firecrackers and all the things that you could imagine that could send you to the hospital, and every once in a while did. But that's the world I lived in, and it was normal. And we don't live in that world right now. And there's some of that might be good, but some of that's just sort of, I'm sorry, I wouldn't have done very well being a kid right now. I'm very glad I was born when I was born. Right. And I'm keeping a kid, and I'm reviving that kid by getting this horse.
Yeah. Yes.
And he's in on it.
Renew of energy. You guys are just spectacular. I can't wait to talk to Hickory more. And any of you out there who have an animal of any kind that you would want to have a greater understanding about their history, their quirks, or things that you want to make sure that animal hears from you, you just talk to that guy, because he's just got it. He's been spot on for years. There's nothing that you have said that has turned out to be the opposite or wrong, as far as every animal communication you've ever done that I know. You're the best there is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So humbling.
But we just hope this conversation is helpful to the audience, and that, you guys can benefit from the wisdom of Hickory and the other animals that we're going to bring forth, hopefully, on this collaboration that we're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. And, the bigger thing with the horses too, we'll keep talking to Hickory, but we're really interested in, the bigger horse energy that includes all of the things that people and horses do together, that's on our radar to talk about. This first part of getting him home is, what's up front right now, but we want to talk about deeper issues, right? And that to me is really, really exciting. Well, thank you again. And thank you, Allison, for spending the first part of your birthday with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. I did want to mention to your audience real quick, though, that horse energy that you mentioned is a thing. That's true. So the collective told us in that channeling we were referring to earlier that we were going to be having a trajectory into the horse energy, not necessarily horses per se, but the horse energy. So in other words, we don't have to necessarily be around, in physical contact with the horses, but we're connecting into the horse energy, and the horse energy is an energetic frequency and foundation that anybody can connect into and learn from and experience without having to be necessarily in physical contact with horses. So that's benefit. Yeah.
Perfect. And I just think of so many other things we can talk about, like prehistoric horses, or the whole idea of unicorns, or just all the things, right? All the things.
It's amazing you just said prehistoric. And as Allison was talking, my mind was drifting off to like the Native Americans, even further back, of how they, you had wild horses and how they, how they communed with them in order to utilize them, and so
much.
There's that synchronicity.
Just so much.
My first spontaneous past life memory was all about a horse. So this is just such a rich subject for us to explore and break some boundaries there. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
All right, everyone. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.